This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone, welcome to the AWS training program. In today's class, we will be covering 4 topics. Those are like CloudWatch, CloudTrail, KMS, Key Management Service, and Secret Manager. So these are like services which are not directly processing your data, but these are like you can say helper services. When you are setting up some EC2 instance, setting up some server, setting up some DB, and these services are the helper services. So what are their you can say advantages, where exactly they fit into our project, and what's their uses? All these things we will be exploring in today's class. So we'll be starting with CloudWatch. So CloudWatch, as the name indicates, like it is watching all of your services. So it maintains the logs from all the services. So let's start the class with the agenda. The agenda is overview of CloudWatch, CloudWatch features, overview of CloudTrail, event history, overview of KMS, Key Management Service, AWS managed keys, and we have customer managed keys, overview of secret manager, and how to store a secret. So this is the agenda, and we will be starting with CloudWatch. So CloudWatch can do a lot of things. As you can see here, the very first thing is logs. Any service, suppose it's like you are doing something on S3, you are doing something on EC2 instance, you are executing your Lambda function or RDS or Redshift, anything. For all the services, logs are being collected and stored in near real time, almost real time, you can say. Like there can be delay of like few seconds. Suppose you executed your Lambda now and you want to see like what are the logs. So you can go to CloudWatch and there you can find the logs. There can be delay of few seconds, but less or more it's like real time. Another benefit is event rules. Suppose you created one Lambda and you want to trigger that Lambda every day at 6 p.m. Or there can be other type of schedule like every Wednesday, or maybe every alternate days, or maybe every weekdays, Monday to Friday. There can be any schedule, any requirement of your project, and accordingly you want to schedule that. So CloudWatch rules will help you to do it. If you remember, when we had a Lambda class, we created one rule as well, and we showed like how to do it. Another is monitor. You can create alarms that can monitor your AWS services. When we created our first EC2 instance, at the same time we created one alarm which can monitor the CPU usage for your EC2 instance, and we put some conditions, we put some threshold that if the CPU utilization is less than 10% continuously for like 15 minutes, then it should stop my EC2 instance. And that's only one example. Not only with EC2, you can do with like many other services. Maybe for Redshift, RDS, Elastic Cache, there are a lot of alarms available which you can customize as per your requirement. You can specify which metric you want to evaluate. What should be the threshold value? What should be the duration? Like if suppose CPU utilization is less than 10% for 1 minute, and you are immediately stopping the instance, that's not a good idea, because it can go down for a minute. So what duration it should be, what threshold it should be, that you can completely customize as per your need, and accordingly it can behave. So we have monitoring and we have act. Like it can act depending upon your alarm threshold met, like stopping EC2 instance. And analyze as well. You can analyze the performance of your AWS services with the help of graphs. How your memory is behaving on EC2 instance, how your storage is going on, how your input and output, you can say requests are coming, and like CPU utilization. There can be many more metrics which you can visualize very easily with the help of graphs. You want to see graph for last few hours, few days, few months. that you can do. And these graphs are already available, inbuilt available on CloudWatch, and you can use all that stuff. So these are major 5 features of CloudWatch which we can use. I will show you on live as well on my AWS console. But before that, let me quickly show you few slides. You can see this one. If you go to CloudWatch, on the left side, you can click on logs and you can click on log groups. So different log groups will be there. One day we created one crawler while we were working on Glue. So there is a log group available for a crawler. We created the Lambda function, my first Lambda function. So there is a log group for Lambda as well. So when we say log group, means that contains a lot of logs, because you may be executing your Lambda multiple times a day. So from very first day when you created the Lambda until today, you might have executed it for like 100 times. All those logs will be available inside that log group. Similarly, we also created one RDS instance. So RDS related, you can say, logs are available under here as well. So this is about log group. Similarly, you can go to alarms and you can find the alarms. You can see that we created 2 alarms. One is stop EC2 instance and one is EC2 CPU utilization alarm. I mean, it's completely up to you. You can provide some meaningful name. You can specify some conditions. You can define your own schedule and like that. Similarly, if you go to other sections, graphs, you can see that I selected EC2 instance because it can display graphs for all the services. I selected EC2 and now it is displaying the graphs. And on the right side, you can see that you want the graph for last 1 hour, last 3 hours, then after that 6 hours, few weeks, few months, like that. So you can see that the bar chart is there. 24th of April, 25th of April, 26th, 27th, how it was working, how was the CPU utilization. On 27th of April, the CPU utilization hit almost like 8%, as you can see. This one is disk read bytes, because we didn't do much data processing and all. That's why it's like almost 0. Similarly, disk write bytes. And these are only few, you can say, metrics I am showing you as part of slides. If you go to CloudWatch metrics, you can find even much more. Okay. Another one is, we were talking about the rules, right? You can create some rules. So rules were earlier coming under CloudWatch, but now AWS is moving those under event bridge. You don't need to get confused. Only thing is they are moving one sub service another under another service. So let me show you live. That would be much easier for you. So we'll go to AWS console and we'll search for CloudWatch. Okay, the first one is coming and we will click on that. So on the left side, you can see that we have the alarm section. You can open it. You want to see all alarms. Sorry. So you can see that. And if you want to see the condition also, that's also available there. You can see now CPU utilization less than 10% for one data points within 15 minutes. If you go to logs, we talked about logs as well, right? So you can find different category of logs. You can click on there and you can accordingly check your logs. So let me click on this one, my first Lambda function. Log stream. One log group contain multiple log stream. Every execution will be recorded into one log stream. You can see the timing also. It was executed on 21st of April. So we'll click on that and it will display. You see that? Wow, it's working. You see this? So this way you can check the logs. Coming to metrics, right? You can go to all metrics, and you can go to like by services also. You can see here DynamoDB, EBS, EC2, Elastic Cache, right? Events, Lambdas, all these things. Redshift, let's right. So this way you can do. Let's go to S3 and see what it will display. You can see this. So I have many buckets. You can see the first one. This one is config-bucket. This is one bucket, the blue one, and then this one orange one is one bucket. My static website nearest, and my test bucket nearest is the green one. So bucket size bytes. Accordingly, you can see the graph. Number of objects. You can see the graph. You can see this one. The highest is this orange one, 483. You can say number of objects, because that is my static website. You remember we had a some zip file downloaded from some open source website, and we uploaded that into our bucket. That's why the number of number of objects are 483. But if I talk about my another bucket, my test bucket nearest, it has only like seven objects. Okay, so this is like you can get the graphs for all the services for a better analysis. And as we said, like not only for S3, there are all the services available, and accordingly as per your things you can do that. Okay, coming to the part rules we were talking about. So if you will see event section, and then there is a rule section, right? You click on there, and you can see now CloudWatch events is now event bridge. AWS is doing always continuous enhancement on their services. So you can notice now that now event bridge is holding all those events, event rules. So go to Amazon event bridge, you can go there. Okay, so here you can create different rules, and rules can be of two type. One is like defined schedule. I mean, it will run on a specific time, or it can be event basis. If you remember, we created one Lambda function, and we put one rule